Okay, and I'm gonna start my camera. Okay. Is everybody rolling? 3, 2, 1. I don't know if that was on point, but it's close enough. Hey everybody, welcome to the first video on our group channel. We are all so excited to be here. Maybe you have seen us posting on our Instagrams, or maybe you've stumbled upon this video by accident, but either way, we're super excited that you're here, and we hope you stick around as well.
So we started this channel just because we wanted to come together as creatives and share our journeys, the highs, the lows, how we're growing, what our processes are like.
We have been building up a ton of content over the past few months, and we are so excited to finally be able to share all of that with you. On this channel, you can expect vlog type content from all of us sharing days in our lives, a bit about our creative practices. You can expect spiritual discussions and how they parallel our creative lives, and also just like chats about how our creative practices differ from one another, because some of us are artists, some of us are musicians, and we have all kinds of creatives on this channel.
Before we actually get into the video, we just wanted to introduce each of us to you guys briefly, since this is your first time seeing us. So I'm Darcie. I am an artist. I like to paint. I like to draw. Wait, do you guys want to do favorite song?
Oh, I don't have a favorite song. Maybe favorite genre or something? I don't know.
Spotify says that my favorite genre is ethereal wave, so I'm gonna go with that.
Oh,
that's what the music it recommends to me is labeled. So
okay.
Who's next?
Who's next?
Why are we just looking at the camera? Okay, Max, you wanna go?
Sure, I'll go. All right. What's up? My name is Max, and Who made squawking noises?
What was that?
I'm so sorry. I need to change my mic audio. I think my mic audio is screeching.
Amazing. What's up? My name's Max. By day, I am a fundraising writer, so I do a lot of content writing for philanthropic and humanitarian causes. The rest of the time, and my involvement with this channel is that I'm a musician, and as far as music goes, my favorite music genre, everyone knows, it's metal. I've been on like the technical death metal side of things, probably like what I'm listening to the most, so yeah, tech death. Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Maryellen. You can call me Mel because that's a lot of syllables. By day, I am a small business owner, so I run my own creative studio, Meld Creative Co., where I do everything from graphic design to content writing. On this channel, I will be sharing mostly my painting and visual art stuff, as well as, I guess, design as well. So I'm a visual artist, just like Darcie. Yay!
Favorite music genre?
Oh yeah, and my favorite genre of music. I don't know what Spotify tells me that I am, but at the moment, I'm really into like funk, new funk, anything with a really good bass line, that's like my jam.
It's the bass for me. Hi everyone, I'm Evin Nazya. I am an incoming psych doctorate student, so I guess you could say that's what I do for a living. I think I'm the only student here. I'm a music artist as well, so I'm a singer-songwriter. I release music. Not as much as I should, but I do release music. My favorite genre of music will probably be alternative R&B / alternative pop / anything under the alternative umbrella, I'd say. Yeah. Nice. So, but I also really like Afrobeats and dancehall and reggae as well. That's my Caribbean roots.
Since this is going to be the first time we're doing one video with all 4 of us on it, we wanted to do something that would give us the chance to get to know each other in front of you all. We're going to ask each other some questions, some of them a little on the silly side, some of them on the more deep and probing side. All of it in an attempt to give you some insight into who we are as people and hopefully have a good time in the process.
And we are all so excited. We've been working with each other for the past, don't know how long.
June, July, May?
Several months. For the past several months, whatever that is. Everybody's super creative and we all work together really well, and it's been so much fun to get to know each other. I mean, there's still so much to learn about each other's creative processes and like just our lives, so we're all really excited to ask these questions and share it with you guys too.
I want to know, what are your guilty pleasures? Like, what's one guilty pleasure that you have? For me, super random. I like to watch chiropractic adjustment videos. Like, just like what? I actually could fall asleep to them. Like, just 2 hours. I'm like, crack.
Oh, so funny.
Wow.
At least it's not pimple popping. For me, it's definitely reality TV. People love to hate on reality TV. I honestly get it. I love to hate on reality TV too. It's really stupid.
So as a teenager, I was a huge One Directioner. Would have married Harry Styles in a heartbeat. Went to their concert by myself because I had no friends to go with, and I'm convinced that he looked at me and like winked at me. So my guilty pleasure is just like locking myself in my room and like dancing to One Direction music.
Okay, my guilty pleasure is like nested inside of something I don't feel bad about. Everybody who knows me well knows that I am like an immense Star Wars fan to an almost irrational level. I'm not ashamed of that. Okay.
I'm like always tweeting about it.
Listen, if it's a slow day and there's something to tweet about, it's gonna be Star Wars, okay? And I will fight the entire fandom. That's normal behavior in my estimation. However, I like Star Wars so much that I will engage with any Star Wars content, including that which is not aimed at me or my age demographic. Like, there's a series on Disney Plus right now that's like, you look at the animation style, you're like, this is for like preschool children. I'm definitely watching it.
All right, guys, I'm wondering if any of you have any beige flags you want to share with us.
What does that mean?
For the audience, can we explain what that means? Because I had to look it up today.
Everyone knows what a red flag is, right? It's like something that's a toxic trait that just is difficult, whatever. A beige flag is like something that doesn't hurt anyone, but it's like maybe mildly ick or just like a bit weird. Like, it's not harming anyone, but it's just something you do that's like not normal.
I'll just go first because this actually ties into Max's Star Wars confession a little bit. This would also qualify as a guilty pleasure. I still listen to like kid stories, like audio dramas for kids. Like, it's I describe it as like a baby blanket. Like, it kind of just, it makes you just, you know, if I'm like really stressed or I just want to turn my mind off or whatever, I'm just like, play my story.
Okay, I'm going to describe it, and I'm going to insist that it's a beige flag, even if everyone decides that it's a red flag. When I'm by myself, one of the most helpful ways for me to process things is by talking out loud to myself.
No, not a red flag.
No, I think that's so common.
It's great.
I win so many arguments against imaginary people, you have no idea.
Yes. I would say for me, my beige flag, and my husband is always pointing this out, I love to sing. And he will be talking to me, asking me a question. And as he's asking the question, like, I'm 100% listening, but I will just start singing. I will just start singing a song. And he's like, what is wrong with you? Are you listening? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I swear I'm listening.
I feel like mine is kind of along the same lines as Darcie. Grown age of 23, I'm still a hardcore Barbie doll fan. Like,
Nice.
So like, no, like I have like over 100 Barbie dolls under my bed, like that. I am obsessed. Like, I follow Barbie on Instagram. I follow Barbie on Twitter. I follow Barbie Dreamhouse, and I still remember all of my like dolls' names and their families and where they go on vacation and what their backgrounds are like. Like, I still.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
love that so
2023 has been an awesome year for you then, with the Barbie movie being released.
I lost my mind. No, I did. Like, when I saw the preview like a year ago, I died. I said, wow, this is why I've gone to heaven.
I really want to know the answer to this question. If somebody in the future, looking back on you and your art career, named this era that you were in, like, for example, Picasso's Blue Period, like that's one of his eras, what would they call it?
Ooh, I have an answer. I don't know what the specific title would be, but it would definitely be something related to earth tones. And it's because like earth tones, one, are very grounding, and I feel like I'm in a very like grounding period of my life right now. I'm prioritizing awareness more and mindfulness and all that stuff, deliberately like cultivating peace in my life. Earth tones also like represent like freedom and balance and all of that, so definitely something along the lines of earth tones.
Such a good question, Darcie. Like, honestly, I don't know if I have a very good answer for this, but I guess like experimentation / like freedom would be my like era at the moment. I just feel so lucky to be in a time in my life where like I don't have kids yet. Not that kids are like a burden, but like, you know, I've got the freedom that you can kind of waste time or just like, you know, experiment with things a little bit. My family's healthy, I'm healthy. Like I'm giving myself permission to just try things without needing monetary or like success sort of a sense. So experimentation, freedom, something like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I am currently there's all kinds of words you could use to describe it. I don't know if you call it like a split era or a divergent era or a like opposite directions era. A lot of the stuff I'm working on in like behind the scenes right now is either extremely brutal, like intense metal stuff, or like extremely smooth pop oriented, like really like accessible stuff. And it's just like I'm kind of like running in these two directions at the same time. And then like lyrically, I'm either writing material that's like really, really like spiritually centric and like more religious in tone, or like definitely not. In every area of my music creation, I'm running in like two very contradictory directions at the same time. And I don't know what to make of that, but that's where it's at right now.
I think that's kind of cool because I think you're kind of striking a type of balance in your artistry by doing that. For me, I think just in life in general, it would be an era of like unity or like unifying, because I feel like a lot of the things that I've learned over the years or experiences I've had, I'm finding how to apply them and how to bring them all together in this era of my life, spiritually, creatively. And then in terms of art practice, I think I'm kind of entering an era of process-focused art. Like I love highlighting the process of making art, or letting like the process of doing something like taking a walk in the morning be an art form, be something that feeds your art practice. So
it's funny, you're unifying and I'm splitting. We're like
I
the
know
mirror opposite.
that's really funny. That's really
Yeah.
funny.
Out of any of your artistic works, what is your go-to piece to show people what your artistic vision or identity is all about? The album that my band put out in 2019, A Fearful Wonder, that's like our crown jewel, I would say. And if I could narrow it down to one song, it's the opening track for me, which most people wouldn't even say is like our best song. It's a song called With Open Eyes. Definitely a metal song, but it's like probably the most like jazz influenced metal song I've ever written.
Don't you wanna feel a little more alive? Live with open eyes.
There's this like salsa samba type of break in the middle of the song. Yeah, it's one of those things that's like borderline unclassifiable, and to me that feels like this is what I'm trying to go for when I'm trying to pitch people my incomprehensible genre that my band fits in. So yeah.
My go-to piece at the moment is this one. Which I'll show the camera very quickly. So anything with portraiture and like abstract elements is like my go-to at the moment. But at the moment I'm mostly doing digital art. But yes, this one, because it's physical and slightly more purist, is my go-to at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love
That's beautiful.
It is.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
My go-to piece would definitely be my 2022 EP, Small Talk, specifically the single Small Talk.
These pages fill themselves up.
Also because doing the music video for that, a little nod to my love for Barbies. I felt like I was in a Barbie house in the video, like being able to dress up in all the different colors, like each scene was color themed, and it was just like the accessories were like big and animated, and that just feels like so much like myself. And also just I feel like the sounds on that EP just represent like the types of music that I like to listen to as well. So yeah, for many reasons that will be explored more in Max's collab video.
So excited for that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. We're gonna have to link all this stuff down below. I'll link your video, I'll link Max's album, I'll link whatever else we talk about. We gotta have people check that out. My piece, conveniently, I'm in front of it, like the whole series. This was my first series that I really felt connected to. Like prior to this, I did a lot of things, but I didn't feel like they were cohesive at all. And I didn't know what my direction was, but this is the series that kind of started off my interest in like themes of nostalgia and memory and documentation. The first piece of that series was this. I figured I'd just highlight that piece as the piece.
So I'm really curious about I guess, the choices that people make in order to get to where they've been. And I'm wondering what all you guys would do for a career, or creatively what you would pursue if you weren't currently doing what you're doing right now. I recently, I asked this because last week I had the opportunity of doing some floral design kind of stuff for my church. It was like this big spring service. And so I was playing florist for a couple of days. And in that moment, I was like, oh my goodness, I've actually missed my calling. I should have been a florist. Like, this is so much fun. And I haven't really had such an intense experience like that before. So I think for me, my answer would be a florist of some description, but I'm curious about you guys.
Yeah, so so I talked with you guys before about, like, I think, like, in another life, or like maybe later down the road, I could see myself like being a florist, like owning a bookstore, or like a coffee shop or whatever. But I think my actual like main answer to this has to be, I feel like I would love to be a musician, actually. Music is the most direct, in my opinion, at least the most direct like art form that gets to your heart and like really makes you feel something. I love that about music. And so I love to sing. I play piano, and I want to play guitar. I want to learn how to play guitar, but I've tried to learn how to play guitar many, many times, and I never can stick it out. But
I can see you playing like an electric guitar in your golf.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
I
Like,
would
can see it.
Yeah.
literally die if I could do that. I think
You can.
You definitely can.
I can. You're right.
It's not
And
too
that's the
late.
thing. I mean, people always say as an adult, it's hard to like start something new or like learn something new or whatever. I'm already good at art. Like, and it's great to be in a field where I feel like I can do most of the things I want to do. Nice. Music is not that field for me. It's a field I enjoy. It's a field I have fun in, but I don't have that freedom to do what I want to do. That frustrates me. That frustrates the perfectionist in me. And so I realize that that's holding me back, and maybe someday I'll do more with music. But yeah, I think if I didn't have visual art, and I was still like the artist that I am, maybe music would be like a path that I would go down. So
Nice.
I'll give you two answers to this that are related-ish. If I could have studied something different than what I did, like when I went to university, I double majored philosophy and religious studies. If I could have majored in something else, and I realized this in my fourth year, I think I would have had a lot of fun with linguistics. But if I could have like a different like artistic pursuit, I used to draw so much. Like as a kid, I was drawing all the time, and I loved creating characters and like monsters and stuff. I would love to be like do character design or animation for like either a TV show or especially video games. If I could do that, like that, I think that would be the coolest thing ever. So
That's awesome.
that would be awesome.
so I'd be a visual artist.
We just swapped.
For me, if I wasn't a music artist or a psychologist, because that is my dream career, and I'm so excited about that. But if I wasn't either of those things, hands down, I'd be like, hello? I would be a fitness trainer, like 100%. Be a Pilates instructor as well. All of the things with health and fitness, because that is still a huge part of me. And that's why I want to get Pilates certified. I want to get my Pilates certification within this decade, before I hit 30. And
Don't
it's
worry
much
about 30 too much.
Says the 33-year-old. I can actually clearly see like each of you in these things that you said. Like Maryellen, you suit a florist. You have your own garden already. Like I can see you. Evin, like obviously like fitness is such a thing for you. Like you're very fit and I respect it, and you have the routine down, and I can absolutely see it. Your energy I feel like is perfect for being like someone like a personal trainer or something. And then Max, you're into like cartoons, and like all these interests really feed that idea of like being like an animator, cartoonist or whatever. So I could so see you doing that.
All of us are shaped in some way or another by where we're from. So what is something about where you are from that has shaped who you are as a person and as a creative? I'm from Toronto, like born and raised. I don't currently live in Toronto, but I'm in Toronto right now for this weekend. I think part of the reason that the music I make and have been involved in is the way that it is just that like Toronto's such a diverse city culturally and like ethnically. I grew up like, you know, obviously rock music, heavy metal, like I loved that stuff. But I was also doing like acoustic singer-songwriter stuff, and I was also in predominantly Caribbean churches doing gospel music that's like heavily calypso flavored and stuff like that. Or like I spent a few years in the 2010s playing guitar at a predominantly like West African church. I was digesting all of these different music styles. All of it was around me all the time, right? So for me, that really shaped my view of music as not this thing that's segmented into categories, but like one thing that could kind of all like blend into each other. Being from Toronto like definitely shaped my view of like what's possible, what it means to like really collaborate and like cross-pollinate across different types of ideas.
So I've lived in many different states over my life, but the majority of them have been the southeast of the United States. I think a key factor has always been I've been able to live in places where there's more nature. Like instead of living in like the middle of a city, I've been able to live in like the suburbs or like more of the countryside of places. And so I think that's made me just really, really like appreciate nature, value nature. And I'm so happy that I'm able to actually like go on walks in the morning. Nature has shown up in my artwork. Like the recent show I did, nature definitely showed up in that, and I was outside actually a lot for a lot of the idea process of that.
I really resonate with that, Darcie. Like I've also had the privilege of growing up in, I guess, more leafy green, like suburb kind of situation. So that's definitely inspired, I guess, some of the symbols and things I tend to incorporate into my artwork. But I think more like on a personality level, Sydney is very different from, like, Australia is this really big spread out place. So like the nearest capital city to Sydney is Brisbane probably, or Melbourne, which are both about 10 hours drive away, right? So you've got big city and then you've got a lot of countryside, like, you know, small towns and that kind of thing. And the majority of Australian places are very friendly, very laid back, very relaxed. Like I think Australia often gets rated as like the friendliest country in the world. I've definitely seen like that laid back Australiana, like, you know, I've been exposed to that a lot, but then Sydney is such a fast-paced, it's not very friendly, like it's big city, everyone's just going to work, coming home, like hustling. And so I've definitely seen that tension in my experience, and it's definitely brought out like this aspect of awareness of how important rest is and how important like presence is. And because I've grown up in Sydney, that's really exacerbated that interest for me, so...
I'm from the Bahamas. I'm from Nassau, Bahamas, the capital city. The sound of my music, I'd say, or like how I incorporate my culture into my music. Sometimes I use like Bahamian dialect in my songs. I just throw them in. I throw them in here and there. There's this thing, Max, you actually helped me realize this. I didn't even realize this. Like I didn't realize this thing that I do was based in my like Caribbean West Indian culture, but it's this thing called like DJing, not DJing like disc jockey, but it's like, it's not rapping, but it's not singing. It's kind of like it's like a fast talking pattern that you do. And I realized that I do that quite a bit in my music, and I'm starting to do that more in my music as well. But on the flip side, in the Bahamas, and I think in the Caribbean in general, introspection and mental health is like practically non-existent. And so I kind of like counteract that in my art, in my music. It's something that I want my country to be more accepting of and more willing to dive into. And so, yeah. So how do y'all navigate second guessing your art before you like put it out, like a piece of art that you're working on? Well, first of all, do you second guess your art? And if so, how do you navigate that when it's time to like share it with the public?
Yeah, so I'm very guilty of sending my bandmates song title _ final mix 4 _ final all caps 12. And so like this, everything just always needs constant revisions. And I remember one of the things that like gave me the most freedom, and it's just something I have to repeat to myself all the time. This is not the original source of this, but I heard it when watching like an album documentary from this band called The Chariot. They used this quote that said, "Art is never finished, just abandoned."
That's so good.
Every time I find myself just getting really stuffed, like, oh, is it good enough? Like, oh, do I need to fix that? I'm just like, you're gonna end up changing it anyways. We have so many songs that like now when we play them live, they're not the same. Like we end up changing things, or like leaning into certain quirks of the songs, or like exaggerating certain things that maybe I would have changed or didn't like in the first place. So it's going to change anyways. So like let this version be part of the process, and who knows when we'll do like another re-recording or a live recording or something, right? So, you know, it can always evolve.
I went to a Matisse exhibition. It came to Sydney last year. And so many of the paintings that he did were like, I would say, if it was my painting, unfinished. Like there's blank canvas in the sides, and like the colors aren't even mixed properly, and yet they're kind of on the canvas. Like something about that just gave me so much permission to abandon my art. And I think the more that I put out art and the more that I experiment and do my art practice, I'm realizing that like art is sort of never finished, and yet it always is finished. Like, yeah, it's a weird balance you have to strike. But if you live your creative life worried about how people are going to receive it, like you are the artist, not the people receiving it, perceiving it. So
I feel like I've never had too much of a problem with individual pieces. Like say I make a painting, I've never really felt necessarily the nerves of like showing that painting to people, unless maybe it was something new that I was trying. But I definitely resonate with the idea of like knowing when it is done or when it is ready to be abandoned or whatever. A way I've helped that in certain cases, in the case of this series, was sometimes setting a timer, sometimes for like 15 minutes, to like just do a painting as quick as possible, and then at the one timer ring, like that's done. And then I don't have the choice to like second guess, well, did I do all I could? Like the timer was the limit. And I think also kind of leaving something quote unquote unfinished is really almost poetic, because an artwork is never truly finished until somebody sees it and brings their own thoughts to it. And so if you've given them all the answers, if you've like filled in all the lines and whatever, then there may not be as much for them to take out of the piece.
I think I'm currently at a space where if I create a song and I start wondering, oh wait, is this actually good? Like, will people like it? I don't really attribute any meaning to that feeling. I simply just let it be what it is. I don't necessarily acknowledge it, because it's not helpful. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm not like grappling with it. Oh, maybe I should. I'm just like, okay, that thought is there. That's natural. Moving on. And I've also found that a lot of the pieces that I have second guessed have always turned out better than I thought. And my song Lemons is one of them. I almost didn't even release that, but I'm so happy that I did. And so I feel like Lemons is like, Lemons is like the one song that I feel like I have that kind of just, it's a good reminder for me whenever I start to second guess too. I'm like, no, if I could release Lemons, I'll release anything else. That's how I feel.
Okay, guys, we've come to our final question, and this one's a little bit deeper. I want to know, if there's one thing you could change about your creative journey or your life journey so far, what would it be?
I think, interestingly, it's something that I'm doing right now. I am learning that it's okay to release art even if I'm no longer in that current space. I think feeling the pressure of, since I'm in this current season of my life, all of the art that I put out right now has to like only be focused on that. And once the season is gone, I can't release the art anymore. Like the art is old news. And my boyfriend realized, because he's also an artist, and so he's a music artist, he can relate to it. He said that it's okay to release something that you don't currently relate to, because it's still a part of who you are. It's still a part of of your story. Because I feel like putting myself in that box to only release something in a certain time frame, it messes with my consistency. And it's like I hold myself back a lot, and I don't put out stuff as much as I want to, because I'm so hyper fixated on the relevance to me. And that's something that I'm learning, that it's okay to release something out of its season, because it's still going to mean something for someone else as well.
So you're saying you would change that about your journey in the sense that you would have just released stuff rather than like overthinking it and like never.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Totally.
Correct. And I'm still learning right now, trying to get out of that.
Yeah. So interesting. I really resonate with like the worrying about what other people will think, and like, changing your behavior or what you put out because of that. Like if I could go back and change one thing, it would be trusting my intuition and just doing what I wanted to do. Because I felt this intense pressure. I was like an eldest child. I was like super, responsible, like personality kind of thing. I felt this intense pressure to do what my parents wanted me to do, what my teachers wanted me to do, to like I got a decent like grade in high school. I could have done a lot of things. And so I wanted to do something that people would respect and be like, oh, wow, she's so smart. Wow, look at her. So I studied law, and I hated every minute of it, but I finished it and whatever. Anyway, have a law degree that I'm never going to use.
Wow.
And a big debt because of it. But like, I just wish I had studied art. I just wish I had just gone and been like, you know what, stuff everyone, I'm just going to go and study design or art or something. Because that's where I've ended up anyway, but I would have saved so much time along the way if I just trusted my intuition.
Wow, that hits me heavy, because I'm in the same boat as you there, and kind of that feeling of like, if I had just gone with what I really felt in my gut from jump, like I would have saved a lot of like mental redirecting and trying to refigure things out, right? Yeah, I've definitely been there. For me, throughout my life, there's always kind of been this lingering question of like autism, ADHD, something along those lines. Is that there? And I never got evaluated for that as a kid. I never the question came up, but it was never followed up on. It's one of those things that now in adulthood, it's like it's much harder to like pursue that kind of evaluation or get answers there. It would be nice to have an answer just so I would know how to respond to it or like how to address it or maybe like why I approached things or thought about things in certain ways. If I could go back and get that earlier in life, I would do that.
Maryellen, I honestly relate a lot to what you said about like caring so much about what other people think of you. I remember like going through like middle school and stuff. I became such like a shy person and I felt so awkward, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like middle school is brutal, but I remember my mindset during that time was like, well, I will never be like one of the cooler people in this situation, so at least I can kind of just blend in to the background, or I can just kind of fit in and not be one of the weird people. Like at least I can hit that middle ground and kind of like be okay. And I think that mindset just kind of stuck with me through my life. So I think I've always carried myself in a certain way or held myself back in a certain way in various areas of my life. Now in my life, I really feel like I'm actually coming into my own, but I still kind of carry that with me. So anyways, if I were to do it again, just with the knowledge I have now, I guess I would realize that being yourself adds so much more to the world, and then holding yourself back and trying to fit in with everybody else and trying not to like make yourself more known, I guess. So
Amen. That's man, that hits home. And that's so funny. Like, Darcie, you're one of the, like, genuinely one of the coolest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Like, you inspire me so much. And it's like the fact that you thought, maybe you don't think it anymore, but you thought you weren't cool, it's like blows my mind. I'm like, the way that like other people see you versus how you see yourself, it never ceases to amaze me.
all right, so that is all we have for you today. I hope you found this entertaining, funny, thought-provoking, and got to know each of us a little bit more. I had a really good time getting to know each of you guys a little bit more, and I can't wait to learn more about you guys and your creative process and see the rest of your creative journey. So if that sounds fun to you, seeing our creative journeys, please follow this channel. Again, this is like super new and we're all excited about what is to come. We've been building up content for the past few months and we have some really, really good stuff coming. So stick around. Also, if you want to learn more about each person on the team, I'm gonna share their social media channels on the screen. On Instagram, you can follow me at _thatoneartist_. I'll just put it on the screen. I'm that one artist on most places: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's there. So.
And for me, you can find me, I'm Evin Nazya on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, all of the things. Very straightforward, just my name.
Awesome. My accounts are also just my name, Maryellen Hacko. I recently changed that, guys. I was Maryellen Creative, but now I'm Maryellen Hacko on YouTube and on Instagram. So please feel free to follow me there.
If you're looking for me on my personal stuff, everything is for the most part Maxwell Kozen, MaxwellKozen. And if you want to find my band, you can just look up Kozen, Kozen, and anything you want to learn about us beyond just listening, our website's the best spot for that, so kozen.org. You can check out, basically find everything on there, so yeah.
And seriously, you guys want to check out each person on this team because everybody is so cool and so creative and doing some really, really good stuff. We will be back with more videos very, very soon. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave a comment below letting us know what you thought. And also, if you have any more questions for us, I'm sure we'll do another Q&A at some point, so leave those below as well. Give the video a like and subscribe if you want to stay tuned to see what happens next. With that being said, bye everybody.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
All right.
Woo!
Yay.
Man, guys, that was so much fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Great. That was nice.
I learned so much about you guys.
For real.
Yeah. I love that. I literally love that so much.
Okay, I am like dreading for you the editing process of this. I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah, you're gonna have a time.